In October, the Kaiser High School Hokule'a Voyaging class began a series of 24-hour immersion sails with Hokule'a Master Navigator Nainoa Thompson.
The purpose of this immersion was to help us become environmental stewards who malama ike kai o Maunalua. The haumana met at the Huinalu Canoe Club's halau to begin this experiential learning.
The first activity of the day was to learn how to use a GPS, or global positioning system. Auntie Annie taught us how to track points on a map so that later on we would be able to tell others exactly where we had worked on the reef. The GPS sends a signal out every 5 seconds to a satellite that tells us where we are in the world.
We paddled out to a sandbar about 100 yards from shore to do a limu cleanup, continuing the work we had begun last year.
We placed a quadrant on a big patch of alien limu. Our kuleana was to clean the limu in our quadrant. It was amazing how much there was in 1 square meter. We used the scoop net to catch floating fragments of limu because the smallest piece could generate a whole colony of alien limu.
Auntie Kim and Auntie Dawn helped us to identify the different types of limu. One of the major limu that we had to get rid of is Gorilla Ogo, or Gracilaria salicornia. Another is mudweed, or Avernphilia amadelpha, and Acanthophora specifera. These are the alien limus in Maunalua Bay.
We also had to chart the fish and invertebrates. We found opai, manta shrimp, and fireworms. Fireworms are the centipedes of the sea because when they sting you, it feels like fire. We also looked for crabs and sea cucumbers. We recorded the data of all the fishes and invertebrates that we found.
It was awesome to do something that was good and benefited nature. Our class collected over 450 pounds of alien limu. It felt great to clean up Maunalua Bay. The spaces that we cleared will become home to native species of limu that we'll plant in the future.
Then we paddled out to Blue Hole to do a reef check. The paddling experience was hard work and brought many of us back to the routes traveled by our ancestors in ancient Hawaii. Blue Hole is truly a big hole of sand surrounded by a reef of very beautiful lobe coral.
Uncle Dave taught us how to identify the fish, and it was neat to actually know their names, like manini, yellow tang, Moorish idol, surgeonfish, goatfish, and baby saddle wrasse. We also saw a spotted pufferfish.
After lunch, back at the halau, we tested for water quality at 3 different locations at the canoe site. Uncle Eric turned the halau into a science lab. The test showed that salinity, dissolved oxygen, and nitrates were found to be at safe levels.
Bright green dye showed us which way the current was flowing, since this can affect the growth of limu. We discovered that there are more than 5 different currents, all flowing into one area of the bay.
The reward for all this hard work is that we got to sail on the Hokule'a. It truly was an honor. Auntie Catherine taught us the safety procedures before we sailed. Experienced crew members provided hands-on training on how to open and close the jib and mainsail. As we worked with the ropes, we learned about the bronco line for the sails. Uncle Nainoa taught us how to steer the canoe. If you pull to the left, the boat goes to the right, and vice versa. It was very challenging to keep control of the large steering sweep, which weighs over 500 pounds.
We could see all the different ahupua'a on shore. After New Valley, we made a port tack and threw the escort boat a tow line, which took us back to Maunalua Bay.
By working together, we developed a memorable experience that will last a lifetime. We are grateful for our leaders who planned this immersion and were willing to share their mana'o to malama ikekai ame aina. This was one day that we all wish would never end.
Ifa